piece of information. According to Israeli media, the defense forces are planning to evacuate civilians who live in towns up to 2 kilometers from the Lebanese border. These are repeated attacks by Hezbollah and allied Palestinian factions, and to ensure that the civilians are not caught in the crossfire, certain areas are being evacuated. We'll try and cut across to Abhishek and get more details on this entire story. The Israeli offensive in the Gaza Strip continues. There's an evacuation near a particular area near the southern border, I believe. And the plan is the defense forces, the Israeli defense forces are planning to evacuate civilians who live in towns up to 2 kilometers from the Lebanese border amid repeated attacks by Hezbollah and allied Palestinian factions. These are constant attacks by Hezbollah which are happening in different areas. Hezbollah, of course, is a designated terrorist organization by the United States of America. Abhishek with us on the broadcast giving us more details on the story. Abhishek, tell us more.
Well, there are reports clearly suggesting that people along the northern border of Israel have been asked to vacate from the bordering areas because of the continuous and intermittent attack from the Hezbollah stronghold from the Lebanese side. We have seen yesterday also an anti-tank gun was fired that injured 5 or more people in that attack. Then there have been multiple attacks of rockets coming from that side, putting the life of civilians living in that area in danger. So in that context, it has been asked for the people to move back from the area. But at the same time, if it happens, that also means that Israeli military may be preparing for some massive launch or counter-offensive against Hezbollah militant, because in that fighting situation, the people are normally asked to leave the territory and go back 2-3 kilometers beyond the bordering area. So while the situation in the southern Israel, that is along the Gaza Strip, that remains very tense, and the counter-offensive are continuously going on from the Israeli side. Now the northern frontier is another theater of war that you could say could open very soon between Israeli and the soldiers, Israeli soldiers and Hezbollah militants on the other side.
Abhishek, what kind of action we have seen from the side of Hezbollah militants on in different areas, and especially along the borders with other neighboring countries? The fear always has been, as we've spoken earlier, that this should not escalate into a regional conflict.
The political dispensation in Lebanon, they have not been in a way supporting Hezbollah, but we know that Hezbollah militants are very much located along the northern Gaza. Northern Israel, and they have vowed to support Hamas in their fight or in their terrorist activity against Israeli forces and Israeli civilians. And what the Hezbollah militants are trying to do, they are attacking continuously Israeli forces along the line, distracting their resources, their commitment towards something that Israeli government want to focus on southern Israel. And in the wake of the latest skirmishes that has been going on the both sides, South Israel and North Israel, it looks like Israeli army will have to stretch itself a little bit too much on both the sides. And this is what the Hezbollah and Hamas, they have been coordinating very well to ensure that Israeli defense forces are very well distracted and well engaged on both the sides of the border. While there has not been a very heavy or massive offensive from the Hezbollah side, they have been intermittently firing on the Israeli location and the security forces, ensuring that a lot of resources, tanks, artillery, soldiers, intelligence are deployed along the northern Israel border, and the counter-offensive on the Gaza side continues to be delayed from the Israeli side. There are also reports that Katyusha rockets that would have a range of about 250 kilometers. That would mean that almost entire Israel will be under range of Katyusha missiles. They have been test fired by the Hezbollah militant. So in that case, it's also important to strengthen the air defense system on the northern side, or for that matter, in the entire Israel. This is what the Israel Defense Forces are trying to do. Okay. Meanwhile, the skirmishes continue on both sides of the border.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhishek, for getting us all the details on that very important story.